Hello, my name is Elaine Laforteza, and I'm a researcher and academic. I teach in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, as well as in the Bachelor of Creative Intelligence and Innovation. An activity I use in the classroom to encourage students to reflect on inclusivity is to ask them seemingly banal questions. I do this to encourage them to really think about the everyday, taken for granted things they deal with. So I ask, how did you get to uni today? Not about how they did in the HSC, but how did they get from point A to point B? And most students reply, what even is that question? Because it's something they wouldn't need to think about. But I ask them to probe deeper, list what activities they did to get to uni. Did they walk here or drive a car, catch a bus or a train? Did they enter the classroom by opening the door? Did they open it with their hands? These activities would be more difficult and take on more emotional and organizational labor if they had a medical condition or that their mobility was different, for example. So I asked them to think about how their movement is premised on idealized and normalized bodily movements, class capital, knowledges, and so on. Then I build on this by asking them another question. How did you know to sit where you're sitting in the classroom? No one ever sits next to me or runs or yells, thankfully. And we talk about how students are socialized into this. Prior education teaches them how to negotiate with spaces that look like classrooms. And these rooms already have inbuilt power structures: teacher, students, listener, to be listened to. The architectural design of these spaces presumes an idealized bodily type and movement. If students were much taller or shorter or needed assistance with sound and visuals, these spaces would be much more uncomfortable and even hostile to navigate. This activity works as a thought exercise that interrogates something that is taken for granted and probes the context through which they come to matter. Asking students these seemingly simple questions makes them rethink or think for the first time the things they have taken for granted. Then I go through students' answers and assumptions and contextualize them in the socio-cultural norms that they have emerged from. Students have responded very positively to this activity. One even said, #mindblown, which makes me very happy because it makes them think about inclusivity in areas they never needed to think about. And that's the whole point of this exercise, to make students realize how inclusive practice needs to be included at all levels, micro to macro. It also gives students the opportunity to share their own experiences and build solidarity in that way.